couple weeks ago, the Cowboys blew out the Indianapolis Colts. Very bad. They scored 50 on them. Now, the Cowboys have been facing these AFC South teams the last 3 weeks. They beat the Colts, and that game was close, really, until the defense just took over on their defensive touchdowns. The Texans game was close, but Dak had a game-winning drive at the end. But then they faced the Jaguars. They were up 17 points. They were up 27-10 at one point. And the Jaguars ended up winning 40-34 in overtime. This kept the Jags' playoff hopes alive. The chances for the Cowboys to maybe win a division are all but gone. And this is back-to-back weeks where the Cowboys have struggled. And what are your thoughts on this? Because I come, especially from you, Drew, I come here, all you do is sing praises for Dak. This game was not Dak's fault. I won't say it's Dak's fault.
Right, thank you. All right, so what are we doing here?
And I will say this. The Cowboys, the version I saw of them earlier in the season with Cooper Rush, the team, when Dak comes back, this team is special. They could make a run. Mm-hmm. How they've looked recently, the same way you talk about Minnesota, you want to bracket Minnesota into pretenders. As of recently, the Cowboys have been pretenders for sure.
Think so?
They've been pretenders for sure.
Now, let me ask you. You said this week wasn't on Dak. Are they pretenders this week, after this week for sure, because of Dak Prescott? Or now, do you feel that they're pretenders now because the defense might not be who you thought they were? Answer that very strong.
They're pretenders
one way.
For a lot of different reasons.
I need the straight-up answer. Are they pretenders after this week? Like you firmly are saying now they're pretenders because of Dak? Or are you saying that after you just saw their defense get lit up?
I have a list of concerns.
A list? That seems pretty nuts.
I'll go first since you allowed me that luxury, and it seems like you have a laundry list of things to say, so I'll make it really quick. Dak Prescott was really good this weekend against Jacksonville. He was really good. His team should have never been put in this position to lose this game. The play that he ultimately ended up losing the game on, ironically, was a perfect pass that was dropped by Noah Brown and right into the defender's hand, returned for a touchdown. Dak Prescott in the first half played nearly perfect football. To be up 17 and to lose this game, yes, listen, I give a lot of discreditness to Minnesota's comeback because there should have been an opportunity for the Colts to score points. Dallas could have scored points also. They have too good of a rush offense to not really milk the clock as well as they could have. Dak Prescott was cooking way too much to not push the ball downfield consistently the way that he was in that first half. Absolutely, I can give blame where blame is due. They had opportunity to do so, and they didn't. But this defense was horrible. To give up over 500 total yards of offense. Listen, Jaguars aren't slouches offensively. Trevor Lawrence is a special player. Travis Etienne has had his moments this year. This was one of his better games this season as well. Say Jones has been playing well. Mostly, let's highlight Trevor Lawrence. This defense where even Micah left his impact, led the league in total pressures this week. Micah was Micah this week, and it still did not matter. They were getting thrown all over. They were getting ran all over. This defense let the offense down. It's that simple. Am I looking at this game and overanalyzing it? No, because what happens with Dallas and what I've seen is that they take their foot off the gas. They take their foot off the gas and they allow teams to be in these games when they shouldn't be. The game against Houston, I firmly believe they went into that week thinking we don't have to prepare this week. We're going to do us. We're going to win this game, and it was closer than it should have been. And ironically, Dak was Dak and drove the entire length of the field to win the game for them. They absolutely put the exclamation point against the Colts. It was a dominating performance. This week, they were up 17. I think they shipped it. We got this game won easily. And they got caught with their pants down, and they lost the game. I'm not overanalyzing this one. I said that when they lost, when they had that scare against the Texans, when they lost to the Packers. I'm relaxing when it comes to the Cowboys. Regular season, we've said this constantly when it comes to the Cowboys. We don't look at the Cowboys and examine them in the regular season because they are always solid in the regular season. Where the test truly comes is in the playoffs. That's where we can start to have the conversation. But I still believe in this team, that it can still be an NFC Championship team. I still believe in this offense. They've shown it does not matter. You have CeeDee Lamb. He's gonna be him. And that's one of my L's this year. I didn't think CeeDee Lamb could do it. CeeDee Lamb's been spectacular. You still have Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott, who's been quietly one of the better running backs in the league this year, especially when it comes into the red zone. He is a touchdown machine. And Tony Pollard, both rushing and receiving, he's a dog. And let's also include Dalton Schultz. He's Dalton Schultz. You have to account for him. This offense is going to be fine. This defense is going to be fine. I'm not going to look at this game and overanalyze it too much thinking about the Cowboys long term. This is a loss that hurts, but it's one that the Cowboys, I can sit here and say they're a team that needs to continue to put pedal to the metal and not cruise. They've been cruising because they're trying to stay healthy for the playoffs. Because you're going to allow people to sit and think that you're pretenders when you're not.
I understand that argument if we're talking about the Chiefs. If we're talking about teams that have proven things. The Bengals, even they went on a Super Bowl run. I'm not doing that for the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't do anything in the playoffs. They choke in the playoffs.
What NFC team can you really look at and feel confident in other than the Eagles?
So I have to look at these games in regular season.
Feel confident in them with Brock Purdy? That's all. That's it.
More than the Niners, yes, I am.
More than the Cowboys, you mean?
Right, yeah, more than the Cowboys. Right now, the NFC is the Eagles and the Niners. Everybody else is everybody else.
Now this.
And the Vikings are right there in the middle, like, we're going to surprise y'all.
Detroit
They're
too,
right there. I like Detroit, too. Oh, I do like Detroit.
What about Minnesota?
For sure. I
Like,
said
there you go. Come on,
I just said Minnesota's like that.
Yeah.
Didn't I just say Minnesota? I said
You said
Minnesota.
you're taking over Detroit.
Now, listen. Dak Prescott in the first half was perfect. 15 for 16, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns. What happened in the second half is that the Jaguars' offense came alive. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. And it came alive because they hunted Kelvin Joseph. That's who they taught. Anthony Brown has been such a huge loss for Dallas this year, and hopefully he comes back soon because Kelvin Joseph, second-year player, he has all the physical attributes to be a really good player, but right now he's not that. He's lost. And they pick him apart. The Zay Jones double move touchdown, it was a double move on Kelvin Joseph.
Caught his ass.
They caught him bad. That made it 27-17. Dak then throws an interception. He was kind of hit on the arm on the interception. It was, it came out wobbly, the throw, and Rayshon Jenkins intercepted it. Jamal Agnew then goes for a 30-yard run. Touchdown to Zay Jones. Little move on Kelvin Joseph again. They targeted him again. Made it 27-24. Cowboys get a 3-and-out, and Etienne has a nice run. Trevor hits Christian Kirk on a wheel route, a route they ran earlier in the game. It worked earlier.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was great all around. Then throws a touchdown to Zay Jones, makes it his third touchdown. It's 31-27. The Cowboys answer back. But moments that cost the Cowboys the game was just that Trevor fumbles the ball, and they're down 34-31. The Jags are. The Jags force a Cowboys 3-and-out. And on third down, the Cowboys didn't run the ball, so it didn't force the Jaguars to take a timeout. Yep. And the play they ran on third down, it's one of the dumbest calls I've seen all year. It's as simple as that. They ran verts. 3 players, Gallup, Noah Brown, and CeeDee Lamb, all verts on 3rd and 10. You need 10 yards, yet you're trying to go for a long, deep pass. It made no sense. Absolutely no sense. Dak throws it to, I think it is CeeDee Lamb or Noah Brown, and it's an uncatchable ball nonetheless. And, that's what happened. Then the Jaguars got the ball back. They go down, get a field goal, and then the pick 6 in overtime that Dak threw, which wasn't his fault. Noah Brown just didn't catch the ball, and Rayshon Jenkins took that to the house. Rayshon Jenkins in this game, touchdown, 2 interceptions, 18 tackles. He's one of the more underrated safeties in the league right now. The Cowboys concern me because Mike McCarthy's clock management is not good. It never has been good. Situationally, I can't trust Kellen Moore like that. I mean, that play on third down was probably one of the dumbest plays I've seen. This is the same offensive coordinator that I saw in the playoffs run 2 plays for 2 offensive linemen running curls. I just really don't know, man. It just, Their pass rush isn't as dominant as it was. Their run defense, it ranks 24th in the NFL. And losing Leighton Vander Esch, he's injured right now. It hurts. And Kelvin Joseph is a liability. Trayvon Diggs on one opposite side is good. But then on the other side, you have Kelvin Joseph, and teams are going to pick him apart all day long. And then the wide receivers create little to no separation. Michael Gallup has clearly lost a step.
Yes.
CeeDee Lamb is good. Noah Brown's all right. Not having Amari Cooper and not having two receivers who can threaten defenses is hurting this team. And if they face a team like San Fran that has these rangy linebackers and great cornerback play, great disciplined defense, they're going to struggle. Same thing if they face Philadelphia. They're going to struggle. I think Philadelphia is going to beat them Saturday with Gardner Minshew because I think Philadelphia is just a better football team. The Cowboys have a lot of concerns, and I didn't even get to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, when I'm critical of him, people think I'm hating on Dak. Dak Prescott is, if he has a great situation, he can win. Like if he was with the Rams last year, I think they probably still win.
Has he had a great situation this year?
No, not the best.
And he's winning.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like making I'm talking about making a run
this year.
It hasn't been. It's been a good situation.
Defense has been phenomenal.
No, I'm talking offense.
I mean, I would say if you're
saying defense has been carrying a lot.
Wait, hold up, Dehls. I'll take that back. It is a great situation. If a back quarterback can come in and have a winning record, it's a great situation. It's a great situation.
Pollard has been phenomenal. CeeDee's had a breakout year.
So Dak Prescott, the situation he's in, he will not elevate it. He will make it look how it looks. Great, right? But he won't make great look exceptional. That's my kind of point with Dak.
So would you have Dak in the Tua tier?
No, he's above that because he has more talent than Tua. Because I think he's better than Jared Goff too. Dak is like the Derek Carr tier. You feel me? Like the Derek Carr Cousins tier.
Aren't all those guys kind of in the same tier?
No, I think Kirk Carr Cousins are.
You have to throw Tua in that.
Kirk Carr and Dak, I think, are above like the Jared Goff tier. I do.
Why aren't you including
It's a
Tua
small
in that?
gap. If there's any gap at all, it's small.
No, I think it's a big gap.
It's not.
Well, with Dak, I think it is. I think Dak is better than those guys. Yeah, I do.
I would take him, but I don't think there's
I just don't see Dak really elevating situations, and I haven't really seen that much in his career. But if he's in a great situation, he can win for sure. You can win with Dak Prescott. But in the playoffs, he's 1-3. This team has a lot of holes, and you can't expect to win with Dak playing superhero. That's my thing.
The 1-3 record, it doesn't really sit right with me always, because that rookie season, man, if they get past Green Bay, they could go win the whole thing. But it was Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. It's a loss.
It is.
He left the field winning.
For sure.
He left the field winning.
Fortunately, that's not a stat we count.
I'm just saying that 1-3 record, people
misleading.
use it.
It's
correct.
misleading. I understand what you're
It
saying.
lacks context.
And we're all about
1-3
context
record?
here.
It lacks context.
We're all about
Okay,
context.
so the lack of context is that instead of
Should be
1-3, they
context
should be
aside.
maybe 2-2.
Pick
And
context.
who knows what happens? Who knows what happens on
Dak's
the run?
best chance to win was
Was the rookie
2016.
year.
It was his best
rookie
chance.
year.
And you're
But
asking a lot from rookie.
He played
quarterbacks.
great.
He did.
He was amazing
For
that
sure.
game.
Without a
I
doubt.
want to say.
You guys talked a lot about the Cowboys. I want to talk about the Jaguars more than the Cowboys since you guys
Trevor
covered
Lawrence is
basically
We
everything.
spoke about the Jags.
That's true.
Fields.
It's true. Yeah, I want to get a little more into it. But briefly, the Cowboys. I never really saw them as a Super Bowl caliber team. They're just kind
agree.
of lucky because they're in a weak conference, so they could win a playoff game or two and maybe even make it to an NFC Championship game. But in terms of getting past the Eagles or the 49ers, if they're healthy, I would still be taking both those teams pretty comfortably. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Lions or Minnesota were able to upset Dallas. Even if you want to call that an upset, Minnesota would probably be favored since they would be home. But to talk about the Jaguars, because the people at home don't know, there was two questions in this topic. One was, can we trust the Cowboys? The other one is Trevor Lawrence a top 10 quarterback? And we kind of touched on it a bit, but I want to go a bit more in depth. We talked about these week 9 stats, right? He's completing 70% of his passes, averaging 280 yards per game, which is a 4,700 yard pace, 14 touchdowns, 1 interception, 110 passer rating. But who he's doing it against is really what's flabbergasting, right? What really jumps off the screen. Week 9 was against the Raiders, a mid defense, but he completed 80% of his passes. That's something that nobody does. That happens a handful of times throughout the entire NFL season and all of the games. Week 10 against Kansas City. Week 11 against Baltimore. Week 12 against Detroit. Week 13 against Tennessee. Week 14 against Dallas. These are all playoff teams. these are all teams that you're going up against. You're going to have to score points. Either have a good offense or a good defense to be able to keep up or stop you from scoring. And Trevor Lawrence has lived up to this hype, and he has exceeded these expectations over these past few years. And he's really doing it with Zay Jones being his de facto wide receiver 1 over the stretch, too. He's been statistically one of the best wide receivers in football over this stretch. The fact that he's doing this with Zay Jones, and as we discussed previously, the fact that he gets Calvin Ridley back next season, or I guess for the first time gets Calvin Ridley, and I'm sure they're going to be adding another weapon, whether that's in the draft or free agency, because Christian Kirk's a solid, number 2, number 3, high upside number 3 guy, and Zay Jones for the most part has just been kind of a depth wide receiver. I don't really see him as being a guy you want to be in there as your wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 every single play, but he's a really good wide receiver 4 and a borderline wide receiver 3 type of guy. But I think right now, I was just thinking about quarterbacks who I would take him over. I have Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Burrow, Herbert, 5. Is he in? Would you rather have Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh my.